I like how you talk about taking pride in the things that you own and valuing it. And this reminds me of something Dr. Manimeghla was bringing up earlier, which was that in her generation, if there was a rip in something, it would get mended, it would get fixed, and it would be done artistically with a lot of love. And there was that one family member in the house who was great at mending things, coming up with beautiful embroideries. And she went so far as to make an incredible observation about your brand, which is that if you buy from Kaveri, and for some reason there's a rip, there's a tear, there's a stain, these things happen to us. Instead of throwing it, if you return it back to her, tell me what you do with those things. Tell me what you do with those garments.
So this is our little bit contributing towards our sustainability drive and a commitment. And so we upcycle them, and we take the garments and convert them into little hearts, little giveaways, little cushion covers. So we convert them into cute things, little cuddle toys, cushion covers, little pouches. So we do that, and we're happy to give them away back to the customer or give them to whoever comes into our store. And we definitely like to upcycle in our factories. We do our little bit. I mean, we're talking about sustainability in the fashion industry. That's a whole different topic. But since you're asking what I do have a certain commitment towards making my brand as sustainable as it can be. I mean, it's hard. Earlier also we asked, how can we help? How can we change the world? You can't. As in, one person can, not individually, but collectively we can. So as a brand, we strive to be as sustainable as we can, because it's hard to be 100% sustainable. So we upcycle old garments, make sure that there's no wastage. We try to go for zero wastage. We use biodegradable plastics. And when we also talk about sustainability, we talk about social sustainability, where we endeavor to make sure everybody who's part of the organization is made to feel important, is part of a family. There is the dignity of labor, a wonderful work environment. So we're always having parties and celebrating birthdays. And that way, everybody feels a part, has contributed to their own growth. It's not just the growth of the brand or the company, it's their own growth. And I love to say that, when I have people in my organization where we have attended graduations to weddings to then births of their children, and we have teams that don't leave us. And I think that's all has to do with the social sustainability angle of our company.
I love this. Pretty much every speaker today has highlighted the value of community, the value in working with one another, collaborating, dignity of human beings and all creatures on this earth, as we learned earlier. My question to you is, where are we headed? Because when we talk about sustainability in fabrics, it's always, we hear about cottons and linens and natural fibers and natural silks and wool. Are there any new materials? What is the future of sustainability in fashion? Where do you see us heading?
Before we go into this, we need to talk about what exactly is fast fashion versus slow fashion, right? So you were talking about artistically mending a garment. So slow fashion is something that is handmade, something that is artistic, something that takes a little time, something that maybe uses natural fabrics that are harder and maybe more expensive to manufacture than, the millions and millions of meters of polyester and nylon fabrics that are just churned out in these factories. So slow fashion is something that takes time, something that is one of a kind, something that is unique, as opposed to fast fashion, which is mass-produced, cheaper priced, and to achieve those cheaper prices usually are made out of polyester and other synthetic fabrics, which at the end of the day is very, very harmful to the environment. Collected a few facts that I just want to read out about fast fashion. So, the younger generation is all into buying cheaper priced, use and throw kind of clothing. So I literally am really requesting all of y'all to stop and think, go back to our heritage of valuing textiles. And once I read out these terrible, terrible facts about the fast fashion industry, I hope it'll make you just stop and think about what you are buying. So the textile industry is the second largest polluter of clean water globally. The dyes are all dumped into the rivers, which then reach the oceans. Then where do all the millions and millions of t-shirts that are bought and then discarded? They end up in floating islands in the middle of the ocean. These polyester fabrics take about 100 years to decompose, and in the meantime, they are emitting poisonous and toxic greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These polyester fibers are is affecting our marine life, poisoning our marine life, and therefore also human life as we know it. And I was telling you earlier that the life cycle of to create a single t-shirt uses at least 2,000 liters of water. So the textile industry is one of the largest consumers of clean water in the world. Chemicals that are used as pesticides or dyes are also very harmful. And of course, to produce low-cost garments, factories have to use unfair practices, maybe low pay and very bad work environments. So please, I'm trying to tell you all these things so that you know when you just buy garments, you're supporting the fast fashion industry, which is really generally very, very unsustainable and not going to help us in the long run.
I understand. So the next time you have a white t-shirt that's stained or ruined, what can they do? Can they rip it up, turn it into bracelets for Friendship Day for friends?
Sure. I mean, just paint over it, hand paint over it, do anything. It's so many beautiful things. You can do anything you want with it. Just don't throw it away. Make it your personal brand. Put your personal branding on it.
I love that. Put your stamp on your clothing.
Yes, absolutely.
Reuse, recycle, rescue pieces of clothing, and so they last you a lifetime, and make more conscious choices. What have you learned, maybe from your mother or your grandmother, something with regards to fashion that you incorporate in your brand?
Well, actually, mostly everything is from what I learned from my mother and grandmother. I came from a very textile background, and my mom used to design my clothes, and we used to go to the local tailor and have it stitched. And a lot of my inspiration is from traditional textiles. We also use traditional techniques, which are contemporized on our clothing. So while we do hand printing or embroidery, we might do contemporary forms of it, but drawing roots from our very traditional heritage techniques and handicrafts.
I love that. Thank you. That is very nice. Do we have our first question ready?
Hello, ma'am. I'm K. Kriti from Ru Continuum School, grade 8. So, what do you think? The chemicals used for dyeing is harmful and it's like unsustainable way, and it's also polluting the rivers and harmful for us. Is there any other sustainable way to dye the clothes?
Yes, a very good question. So there is the options of using natural dyes, but that also is a little difficult to get a lot of. But nowadays, a lot of governments are very, very strict. So you can use chemicals that are not that harmful, and also the mills have to be very particular that they process these waters, these chemical waters. They're processed, and the toxic chemicals are removed, and only then can this water be let out into the rivers or back into the earth.
Namaste, ma'am. I'm Lakshna from grade 11, Ru Continuum. As a student who is into art and design, I would like to ask, how do we create designs being mindful of all body types but being culturally sensitive at the same time?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's very important to be culturally sensitive and understand, look around and learn from everyone and everything around you. Okay, so you can learn about body types as they are listed in theoretical books, but just do an experiment, line up different sizes of your friends or your aunties and just see what works for them and what doesn't. We have a lot of information available, which the research has been done and studies have been showing what will work for what body types. But if you really want to know, just figure it out by trying and experimenting and going out there. When people ask me, what was your market research? I said, my market research was packing bags and going to every part of the country, from Chandigarh to Coimbatore, from Calcutta to Goa, and understanding what women thought, what women prefer to wear, what they look like. I know Bengali women have a certain body type as opposed to women in Tamil Nadu. So as much as possible, on-ground experience or just having fun, that's another thing. Just have fun with what you do and call all your aunties from your neighborhood and say, okay, come on, let me just take measurements and see what works.
Namaste, ma'am. I'm Surya Naveen of SSVM Mettupalayam. My question is, how important is formal education in fashion design compared to hands-on experience?
So I didn't have any formal design education at all. So when they asked me which fashion institute did you graduate from, nothing. So, but it always helps because there are certain things that you will learn, your basics. But I have to tell you that we have a very, very active internship program. And the interns who come to us for 3 months, they say they learned more hands-on than they did for 3 years in their school. So I would say both are very important, but if you can get hands-on experience, because this is something that you actually have to experiment and touch and feel, and when you talk about the flow of the fabric, the way it falls, that's more hands-on. So as soon as you can get practical experience, jump into it.
Namaste, ma'am. I want to ask a question. Like, if somebody wants to start a business about fashion, what would be a suggestion?
That's not an easy question to answer, but I'll start off with some things that I have learned and I believed with. One is, why do you want to start a fashion brand? There are many people doing different things, many people doing the same things. Know why you want to start a fashion brand and what makes it special. Because there's too much already. But this, I started because this was something I felt very deeply and strongly about. So I would say, find that which makes it unique to you and then do it with all the passion and excitement. Just keep at it. Make mistakes. Please make mistakes, but don't repeat them. Learn from them as you go along. One time you make a mistake, okay. Second time you make a mistake, okay. Third, fourth time, then, you better check yourself. And one thing I would say is, ask for help. No harm. Ask for help. Ask for advice. Go to experts who can help you and guide you if you're looking at the business aspect of it. Another thing I would say is just keep at it and wear comfortable shoes.
I'm Vian MP of 8th Standard from SSVM School of Excellence. Now I have one question. On your opinion, can I know what is the best, sustainable and feasible method to dispose the waste that is produced in factories, the clothing factories, like the threads, the small pieces, the stains which are remaining, etc.?
Yeah, so we're trying to, very, very difficult question again, because zero waste factories need a lot of discipline. And to achieve that is something very special. So it can be done. One is we do a lot of patchworking with all the end bits and then convert them into blankets. We find other institutions to then donate thread, mixed up thread boxes. We just make sure that we're talking about upcycling. And I'm talking about even the bigger mills. There are certain mills and certain brands now that are committed to being more sustainable. Like, for example, Adidas has said that by the end of 2024, they will only use recycled polyester in all their shoes. So for factories to do that, it depends. It depends on each one individually, what is the kind of materials they're actually using. But it takes dedication and it takes discipline. It also costs a little bit more for the factory to take care. So again, what we're talking about, it's not a question of money, but it's just the question of the discipline and dedication to do that. And it depends on what the product is. And nowadays also the governments are being very strict, and there are some regulatory bodies that are being very strict about waste management. Like, for example, we're talking about the chemicals that cannot be just let out into the water, and also the other products that are being used in factories. There is very, very strict waste management procedures. So it depends from industry to industry.
Namaste, ma'am. So for different type of styles, there's a use of different type of fabrics which play a good role. So with just linen, how do you take up different type of styles?
That's a very good question. Thank you very much. Yes, so I've been told that what I do with linen is very unique. For me, so there are, like I said, if you have, when they asked me, should they have hands-on experience, one of the very important aspects of designing a garment is the use of the fabric and understanding the way the fabric falls, the way the fabric drapes, the texture, the weight of the fabric, the transparency of the fabric, and so on. So those characteristics, when you take in play, linen is meant to have not much of a range, doesn't have much of a range. But again, like I said earlier, I was told that's all you can do with linen. And I always do what I'm told not to do. So I took linen and I turned it around on its head, yes, and created and developed with with the mills that I work with, different weights and falls of the fabric, which then allowed for my artistic expression. So I again came back to what was true to me. I tried to work with other fabrics, but nothing spoke to me as much as linen did. And of course, it helped that it is all beautiful and natural and sustainable and everything. So yeah, just experiment. And that's what I did. I just tried out different things and didn't let what was the norm and what was conventional use of linen to stop me from doing what I wanted to do.
Thank you for taking the time to share your journey with us. I love how your journey with fashion, linen, and your brand is more a journey of self-discovery that we get to then enjoy and also be very, very sustainable while we're at it.